The Lake Forest Podcast is supported by viewers, listeners, and businesses just like you. Michelle Parno has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, and J.M. Welcome to the Lake Forest Podcast, your virtual public house where I, Pete Jansons, am your virtual bartender ready to serve up the latest buzz around town. Pull up a stool and join the conversation at our bar where everyone is welcome to share their thoughts and stories. Here at our podcast, we chat about the happenings and hearsay of Lake Forest, just like old friends catching up over a drink. Our discussions are intended to entertain and inform, providing a place for community voices to be heard and diverse opinions to be shared. Please remember, while we aim for engaging and thought-provoking content, not everything you hear may be the final word. We're here to discuss and debate, just like any lively bar chat. We value all perspectives, even those that challenge our own, as part of the rich dialogue that keeps our community vibrant. So grab your favorite beverage, join the dialogue, and let's enjoy a good conversation together. Don't forget, we're here for community spirit and shared insights, not courtroom disputes. Cheers to good talks and great company. So I donated $1 to Lake Forest for transparency.
$1 too much.
$1, I believe, is
pays for a Facebook ad.
It's good enough to trace wherever that money's going. It's legal.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, no, I understand. I've saved it.
We'll see.
There's a lot of unanswered questions there.
So Joe, Lori Fitzgerald, she's badass.
Great guess. Yeah. She should run for something again. She should run as a caucus candidate for something.
Other than
my humble opinion.
Her marathons. Well, she's a busy gal. She's got the marathon. She's got a good job. So we'll see if she's got the time. But
and that's the challenge you have in getting a lot of people involved in things is they're busy with life, right? So you end up just getting retired people doing stuff. And I don't know if you want everyone doing something that's. I don't think you want retired people involved. Certainly, I'm not dissing anybody that's retired, but you want a mix of people.
What about unemployed?
Depends on how they're unemployed. I mean, look, people get laid off, right? I mean, unfortunately, that's part of life. So, but yeah, I think you have to judge each person. But you don't want a board or a council that everyone is a senior citizen that's retired. You want a mix of ages, a mix of experience being brought in. Just like you don't want a school board that's all PTA parents.
Yeah. Joe, let's close out some issues from last week, in the spirit of transparency here. I got an email here from a Sheila Henretta. What did she say?
A Sheila Henretta or the Sheila Henretta?
I guess there's no alleged, it's the. I advise you to stop making false and defamatory statements about me, such as this one. Quote unquote, historical challenges and failures within the caucus, particularly concerning the missing bylaws that were never amended by past presidents like Sheila Henretta, who had the power to make necessary changes but did not. You need to retract the statement and all similar statements you make on your podcast. Neither I nor any other caucus president has the power to make necessary changes. Unilaterally, you know that, and are intentionally and maliciously making false and defamatory statements about me. Cease and desist. You are on notice. Sheila, thank you for putting me on notice, and let's clarify things here, Joe.
Well, I'm disappointed that she would write something like that.
Disappointed, but not surprised?
First, I don't know her well enough to be surprised.
Yeah.
You know her much better than me. But
I know her a lot better if she would come on the show.
She should, as an attorney, she should know that whether you're right or wrong, you're well within your legal bounds to make statements like that, because it is a issue of public policy and public discussion. And, you can't, there's no legal, she can't sue you. Even if you're wrong. She can't. It'd be like me saying Brad Schneider doesn't care about people who make money because he voted for a tax increase. He can't turn around and sue me for saying that, because he's a public official, just as she was a public figure as the president of the caucus. So, but to the meat of what she's saying, Pete, she's technically correct that the president doesn't have the power to unilaterally do anything. But the president of the caucus, just like the mayor of the city, has the bully pulpit, has the power of the office, the gravitas, the influence to say, hey, guys, let's take a look at this and do something. And say what you want about Chris Bennis, but Chris Bennis did that when he was president. Chris Bennis said, hey, guys, we got a problem here with the bylaws. And he went to the caucus and brought it forward, and then they put it to a vote, and and it didn't turn out the way they wanted, obviously.
Well, hold on.
So your criticism of her is that she did not exercise her leadership as president to get that discussion going. Could she have unilaterally changed the bylaws? Of course not. Just as Chris Bennis couldn't do it and ended up not being able to do it. But Bennis put himself out there and put his reputation at risk on it, and she didn't do that.
Well, here,
according to you, I didn't even live here then, so I'm basing all of this on what you're telling me.
Well, hold on. Let's just get a couple, because this is what I'm seeing and perceiving, and Sheila could just come on the show unedited.
Yeah, and that was my next point: is why not come on and discuss it? I don't think you're an unreasonable guy.
Well, it depends.
But you've been fair to every guest that's ever been on this show.
All right, but here, let's get to Sheila, and let's talk about power, okay, in the context that I believe it was put out there. Sheila has, I believe she's still on the Lake 42Q website as being the, I don't want to say expert, but she's the one that's discussing bylaws because she's an attorney.
Well, they've got a quote up there from her from that meeting they had before the CPA vote, where she went into stuff, and she said at that meeting, I believe, that she was a bylaw expert, that she had done that in her legal work. So
she's in the business. So if you're
she is certainly, and she's putting herself out there in the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, it'd be one thing if she rode off into the sunset and said, "Hey, I'm done. I'm out. I'm not getting involved anymore." But she continues to put herself out there as someone in the public domain of discussion by speaking at that meeting and having that YouTube video posted by the transparency group. So criticism of her is fair to make and well within your legal rights to do that, whether you're right or dead wrong.
Neither one of us are attorneys here,
and
but
she is an attorney, should know that. I mean,
well,
come on.
These are our opinions, but kind of what I want to do is say, hey, to me, you're being used as an expert more than I'm an expert on it. Okay. And going back to 2021, when I asked Kim Fail to offer up some, because there was issues with the bylaws back then, I said, can I talk to some ex-presidents to talk to me about what's been going on? And during Sheila's tenure was the last time the bylaws were changed. Is that correct? I'm under the impression that's
you know the history better than me, sir.
Okay. So if the last time this I don't even know what to write for, the door was cracked open, the safe, now it's a safe vault. It's a vault door. Okay. Last time it was open, okay, Sheila had when I say power, to me, power is knowledge and influence as a president to say, hey, there's a couple things wrong here, which on the Lake 42QB podcast, she states that the bylaws were not artfully written and there was a flaw in them.
What if you were still sitting around that table as a caucus executive committee member, and obviously you have a professional background in corporate governance as well. What advice would you provide to the current committee as they look at this? I mean, we're only a few weeks away from a vote, but what advice would you provide if you were sitting there in that group saying, and this is the discussion?
Sure, and I have provided this advice already, but
so you've reached out to them,
and they've reached out to me,
Okay.
and I will say I respect Chris Bennis, and I appreciate, even before these came out, he reached out to me to let me know this was coming, and chat with me if I had questions, and I really appreciated that, and I think that's a really good thing to do, and I'm sure he did that with more than just me, and I think that's really excellent. But I think kind of two things. One is that don't lose the ethos and the core foundational principles of the caucus in reacting to something that went awry last year, because I think that unfortunately that kind of is what's happening with this proposal for all the reasons we've talked about. The other thing is, we can acknowledge that there is a flaw in the bylaws in that it doesn't expressly state what to do if the vote goes the wrong way. Now, for me, as a corporate lawyer, what you really do is you look to the spirit of the bylaws, you look to kind of the structure of it.
You're asking to have an election. It's not saying it's a straw poll or
exactly.
Right.
And the real answer was, and I understand why this sounded very daunting, but the real answer was you needed to have another vote to cleanse the bad vote. And as I had said last year, even if you want to run Dr. Tack again as your candidate, it may not be the best look, but just run another vote and get the turnout to elect him, so that you can move past this bad vote. Because, for instance, if you're a corporate board of a public company and you have to put a vote to the shareholders, and the shareholders say no, and then you go, well, we're going to do it anyway. I mean, can you imagine that ever happening?
What's the point of having a vote?
Well, and you would get sued, right?
Well.
So, and frankly, these guys probably could have. So I think but I do think we have to acknowledge that the bylaws were not artfully drafted.
Okay. If you are the or better than most, and you are in a position when the bylaws are being changed, why wouldn't you address the elephant in the room, which is, what if the vote doesn't go our way? What do we do?
So you were on the caucus when she was president, is that correct?
No.
Oh, you weren't? Okay,
Mike
I'm sorry.
Adams. This was right before.
Oh, okay.
Right before.
So, like I said a minute ago, the question is, and it's a legitimate discussion, and I would love to sit on a podcast here with her. And I don't think she's that unreasonable person, at least in the handful of times I've briefly met her. She seems like a very reasonable person. let's sit down here on the podcast and discuss this out, because you've never been rude to a guest on here. I was rude to Joe Severino, but he was a jerk, so whatever. But all the other, you've always been good to guests on this show, Pete. You've always been fair. You've let people talk. You don't edit them. You post stuff unedited. So come on and explain it, because I think if there is a misunderstanding, let's clear it up and let's talk about it. But again, my understanding of it is back when she was the president, she didn't exercise any leadership in trying to get the rest of the caucus involved like Chris Bennis did. Chris Bennis was a leader in this and tried to correct this, put his reputation out there, and got burned by it, by the transparency people, to put us where we are now in this paralysis situation. And quite honestly, Pete, I appreciate your history with this, and history is important. You learn from your mistakes in the past. But what I'm less concerned about something that happened 3 years ago as what's going to happen the next 3, 4, 10, 30 years here in Lake Forest. We need to save the caucus, okay? Because if we don't do something soon, there will be no caucus, or it will be a shell of itself. And we will become Highland Park. We will become Northbrook. We will become a community that has horrible public policy, that doesn't respect law enforcement, and raises crazy taxes. Everyone should watch the recording online of Monday night's city council meeting. And if you have time, watch the finance committee meeting as well. Okay. That was a master class on how you run a city. That meeting showed us that Mayor Tack and the aldermen and the village and the city staff, are doing a near perfect job, a great job of running this city, providing the best possible services at the lowest possible cost. Elizabeth, the finance director, I'm jealous as a former municipal official. I wish, with all due respect to the people that worked for the Village of Morton Grove back when I was on the board, have a drink, that they couldn't, that she is great. She's won awards in the state and national level and stuff. But she used the word, which I was surprised several times, because it can be a dirty word in politics and in government, conservative. Several times, if you go back, she used the word conservative. Alderman Jim Preslak did. But what they're talking about is being conservative and prudent with our city resources. And the proof in the pudding was later on when we had the discussion about the new police station and how the city is going to say it's not going to be free and it's not going to be cheap, but the city is still going to come out way ahead and is saving a lot of money compared to what other cities have had to spend in building a new police station by acquiring this property out in Conway Park, so they don't have to build a building from scratch. Go look at the news article of how much Lake in the Hills is going to spend to build a new police station from scratch. Lake Forest doesn't have to do that. They have to spend $3 million acquiring the property. They're doing some site studies to make sure it will work for what their needs are. I'm assuming it will, based on the building was built in 2008, so I think it's in pretty good shape. But and it's going to cost money to retrofit it. It's going to cost money then to make what is now the police and fire station on Deer Path a full 100% fire station. But we're still going to come out way ahead compared to what most cities are. And my point here is, Pete, this city is being run extremely well. Like I said, as a former municipal official, I'm jealous of what Lake Forest has been able to do with its resources. And I'm happy as a resident now and as a taxpayer. Like I said, we have the best possible city services at the lowest possible cost. And a lot of cities in this area cannot make that same statement. So for this transparency, and that didn't happen by accident, that happened by 90 years of a caucus and citizen leaders like Randy Tack like Jim Preslak, like Eric Goshgarian, the rest of the city council, George Pandelian, the mayor before Randy Tack. There's a long list, and I'm sorry if I missed somebody, but these people are leaders and bring their professional expertise to the table at no cost to us, the taxpayers, and are guiding this city in a way that is tremendously great. No one wants to leave Lake Forest. People want to. I moved to Lake Forest. My family chose to move here. Okay,
Joe.
And yeah,
take a breath.
But I'll take a breath. But my point is, what the hell does these transparency people want to do? Give me an issue, and don't send me a link or post a link to a video of some Lady Gaga music being played at a party at the Gorton Center one night, as a reason for the city council's a rubber stamp for bad policy, because that's a bunch of hooey.
Okay, you take your breath, Joe. The issue is there's 16,000 voters in Lake Forest, correct?
About that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. About 257 showed up for this caucus issue. Okay. So when things are running well, that's not enough motive to get off the sofa. That's the problem, and come out and vote.
Well, like look at Lori. We just had as our guest. Lori Fitzgerald made a very good point. She grew up here in Lake Forest and didn't know about the caucus. And that's because you know when turnout is high, Pete, turnout gets high when there's a problem. That's when turnout is highest. The higher the voter turnout, the more upset people are. Go ahead.
May I? Thank you. Joe, we're talking about the law of small numbers here, right? So if you have low turnout, that means that more often than not, whoever's got the negative narrative will get the quote unquote masses to come out. And that's part of what this Lake Forest for Transparency, L42QB, whatever it's called. And it's starting with this bylaw issue that I think people should understand, that the people that are pointing the fingers at the caucus, remember, when you got a finger pointing this way, you got a thumb pointing this way. Okay. And Sheila acknowledged the errors. What did she say? Artfully written, and then there's a flaw in there. She didn't catch it when she had the chance to. That's all that I'm saying. And that is not a misstatement, because that's all fact. But just, I want to respond.
Right. Come on and explain that, Sheila.
Well, here,
come on the show.
I'm going to give my professional statement here, Joe, and we'll move on. Okay. Sheila, I acknowledge your concerns as expressed in your recent communication. However, it is crucial to address the core of our discussion, the expertise and knowledge that you, as a former president and acknowledged expert in bylaws, brought to the caucus during your tenure. During your presidency, the bylaws were amended under your guidance. As you pointedly discussed on the L42 whatever podcast, there were known issues with the bylaws not being artfully drafted, particularly around what actions to take if votes for executive officers do not go as planned. This flaw, which you acknowledge, has led to significant confusion within the caucus, impacting its operations to this day. My reference to your power was to underline that your expertise and position placed you in a unique role where your recognition of this flaw could have initiated a crucial amendment process. It's not an assertion of your unilateral control, but a recognition of your influential position in shaping the discussion and guiding the caucus through complex bylaw issues. The point of contention remains that this critical issue was either overlooked or unaddressed during the last bylaw amendments, contributing to the current procedural ambiguities facing the caucus. It's this oversight that has fueled much of the public's current misunderstanding in the situations we now find ourselves discussing. I have extended multiple invitations for you to appear on this show to provide clarity and discuss these complex issues further. Going back to 2021, your perspective would undoubtedly enlighten our audience and contribute to a more nuanced understanding of the caucus challenges and operations. I urge you to reconsider. Such a dialogue would be beneficial for all involved. In moving forward, my platform will continue to foster informed discussions that aim for clarity and community and understanding. Your participation would be most welcome, Sheila. Joe, is that enough?
More than enough.
Okay.
It's what I just said.
Okay. But no, that's what I just said.
Sure.
So
there you go.
And
come
again,
on, see, Sheila, we'll be nice. We don't bite.
Look, man, the premise has always been this is a public house. Come on in. You got an opinion. Any person that doesn't come on and give their thoughts and refuse to do so, I can only go have my opinions based on what I've seen and heard. And that's what I've seen and heard. Okay. So
Randy Tack came on the podcast during the mayoral election. Prue Beidler did not. How did that work out?
I don't know if that's the same thing, but it's Lori Fitzgerald, who we just did an interview with. She was, the evil doer against the caucus. And you know what?
She didn't seem any evil to me in the interview. But
cool chick. So
yeah.
If you want to fault me for anything, is I'm not conflict avoidant. I like to get to the bottom of things quickly and move on to something else more productive. And unfortunately, there's a meeting of this recording. There'll be a meeting tonight at the Gorton Center of these people. And they'll have an election attorney there. So I guess Sheila won't be speaking.
Let's go.
Do we have an election attorney? What question are we going to ask?
There's I think we should just go and record it so the viewers can see it, and they shouldn't have any objection to it because they're a transparency group. So they should be transparent and let you sit and record it. Let's just hear them. I don't want to disrupt their meeting, but I want a recording of the meeting posted right away, not on Turkla time, which is like 3 weeks later. And you just, let the citizens of Lake Forest hear it out, because I think the more people know, because I think the more transparency there is on the transparency group, the more people will realize that the caucus, while not perfect, is the best system we've got. Go back to that quote that Mayor George Pandelian said on our show. I can't remember it exactly, but democracy isn't perfect, but it's by far the best thing. The caucus is a very good thing. The proof is in the pudding, what you saw Monday night at the city council meeting, as well as the great services we enjoy here in Lake Forest. That didn't happen by accident, and it could easily go badly if these transparency people get hold of city government, which they're trying desperately to do.
You know what I noticed on their page? There's fewer and fewer people putting their names up on that page,
which tells me that they're even less transparent than they used to be. I hate to sound like a repeating person here, whatever the phrase is. I forgot it, but I hate to. I keep beating a dead horse here, but show me the money. Show us who is giving you money.
Well, they
show
are
us how you're spending money. Okay, but he said on their podcast on December 7th, 2023, they are a 501c. They said they are a 501c3 on their podcast on December 7th of last year. Last I checked on the Internal Revenue Service website, they were not registered as a 501c3. So you found, I think online, they're registered as a non-for-profit. Was that the Illinois Secretary of State's office that you found that? Okay, great. But that's not a 501c3. Okay, you said you, Mr. Turkla, said they were a 501c3. Where is it? And more importantly, whatever you're filed as, if you're going to get involved in politics here in this city and in public policy and try and get people to vote in elections the way you have been, you have an obligation to show us who is giving you money and how you're spending it, and give it to us in a timely fashion so that the voters can then base their judgment on that. Say what you want about the Lake Forest Caucus, but they disclose who their donors are well before the election, and they disclose how they're spending the money well before the election. Prue Beidler waited until election day to disclose most of her expenditures, because most of her expenditures were using Democratic Party political consultants, and she was trying to run as a nonpartisan, bipartisan, independent mayoral candidate, but she was anything but that. And she knew that if the word got out on that too far in advance, the gig would be up. Well, the gig was up anyways. But again, you don't use the word transparency unless you're fully transparent.
Joe, another note I got was we're talking about these people too much. And we're
Fair
not.
Point.
And well, why are we talking about it? Because this is what
Are we giving them oxygen? I don't know. I mean,
I frequent bars, okay, and this.
What did P.T. Barnum say? I don't care what you say about me, just spell my name right.
Spell the name right. But one of the things
you can't even spell their name. You use a different acronym every time. Just be careful there. I think you don't want to mix issues with another issue.
Well, no, I think
uses those initials.
What we're supposed to be talking about is how this is all a front. I don't even front is the right word, but this is a misdirection to fuel Melanie Rummel's bid for mayor. When do you have to make that? You have to do something with the election committee or file or something. Any idea when?
Well, you have to file petitions. You'd have to go back to look at the date that Prue Beidler filed for the 2023 election, when that date is. And obviously, if you're going to run for office, you usually announce that well before, so you can get your campaign going. You can start fundraising. The question is, if she does run,
she is going to run, Joe.
Okay, then who's going to fund her campaign? Is it going to be Prue Beidler? Is it going to be Liz Uihlein? Liz Uihlein, maybe. I don't know.
It's going to be Uihlein.
Well, that'd be unfortunate if the Uihleins chose to support.
Oh, this is my opinion.
Left wing.
This is my opinion. Okay. I've heard enough stuff where if I had to make a guess to bet my life on it, Melanie Rummel is going to run for mayor. Uihlein is going to front all the cash, and all this negative stuff's going to come popping up there. You watch, and we're going to get into this mess again. And to me, what I try to do is I hate to let stuff build up. If there's a brush fire, like along the tracks in Highland Park and Lake Forest from the trains, you see that? I like to put them out ahead of time. So bit by bit, as if we're giving them oxygen, okay, it's a smoldering fire, pour some water on it. Okay. It isn't what is being put out there. On to the next issue. Okay. So I said my piece, I'm done.
And I want to say my piece on the Uihlein aspect of this, because I've heard that too. The Uihleins are far more conservative than me. Okay, I have always been a moderate here and well documented on this show. That point, the pin is not political. The pin is celebrating our country and our state.
Okay.
The Uihleins generally have supported very conservative candidates. Okay. All you have to do, if Melanie Rummel chooses to run for mayor, is look at her record on the council and go back to her record on the school board. She wanted to ban the single-use plastics in Lake Forest when she was an alderman. I think the Uihlein company, one of their products is single-use plastics. So the Uihleins might want to have some second thoughts about giving money to someone so left-wing as Melanie Rummel, okay? And I get that her husband was a Republican county board member and all that, but I've heard from a lot of Republicans, and I hate to use that rhino thing because people call me a rhino. But
Republican in name only?
Name only, yeah, Republican in name only. It's an acronym that goes back to the Goldwater era. But the Rummels are very, very liberal. Very liberal. Okay.
Just fiscally and
I don't think Liz Uihlein wants a mayor of her city that wanted to ban single-use plastics, that voted against a turf field that her grandchildren enjoy now in the city of Lake Forest. Okay. So I hope Dick and Liz Uihlein come to their senses on this and support the caucus, or at least stay out of the election, okay? And don't support someone that supported Prue Beidler, who gave as much money to the Democratic Party as the Uihleins have given to the Republican Party.
And are we still playing this gender thing because we're putting aldermen up that are women because we want?
Well, I see. I'll split hairs with you on that. I think the women that are aldermen now on the city council are doing a fine job. I supported a woman for president, an Indian woman, Nikki Haley. So I don't have an issue with women being in office. I worked for Judy Bartopinka for many years, and I wish she had been governor instead of Rod Blagojevich. Thanks, Prue, for giving money to Rod Blagojevich. But so I don't have an issue with slating more women, more people of color. But again, they should be qualified. I supported Nikki Haley for president because I feel, still do, that she was the best qualified to serve as president and the best person to represent the Republican Party in a general election. I supported Judy Bartopinka, not because she was a woman, but because I think her record showed that she would have been a great governor and certainly better than Rod Blagojevich. So I don't have an issue with the caucus slating women as long as they're qualified. So the caucus did the right thing in saying, Prue, you're a woman, yes, but you're not the most qualified. Randy Tack is the most qualified. So
Not just one vote. She was voted down.
Three times. So
you bring up vote, or maybe I did, but from what I hear from the old school caucus people that I talk to, this voting thing hasn't always, caucus has been around 90 years. This quote unquote vote, it's not really a vote. It was supposed to be a meet and greet, and it changed the wording. Have you heard that, Joe?
You talking about the thing at Gorton?
No, yeah, I'm talking about quote unquote to vote to approve the executive officers.
Slate or the executive officers.
Yeah.
I don't,
That's
the thing about this whole bylaws business, Pete, is this is such insider stuff that even a politico like me has trouble deciphering some of it, because I'm far more interested in the public policy of what the city's doing than in some silly bylaw. But the bylaws drive how you run the organization. And so clearly it's become an important issue that I've had to study, and we need to get more people to study to counter this small group of transparency, alleged transparency group.
Because not even 20% are causing 80% of the problems here.
I mean, like I said, I think it's kind of like the Republicans in the U.S. House of Representatives right now that are bringing everything to a stalemate. The same thing with and I'm a Republican, but the transparency people are a small minority of the population, yet they are now they're starting to cause what I would consider political chaos. All right. And the whole vote of the officers and all this business, it would have been like Congress on January 6th of 2021, not voting to certify the election results. Who else can be the president of the caucus besides Joe Aridi, according to the bylaws?
And the other people didn't want the job. So
can you blame them?
Well, yeah, this is going to help get
put up with that crap. I mean, that's the problem. You're losing
that's
good
their
people.
strategy, though, Joe. I think that's
they don't want it because they want to be. They're bullying people, good people who don't want to get involved. There are people I know people in this town that would be great contributors to city government, but they see what's going on now with this, and they're like, nah, not for me. And that is going to gradually erode the caucus. When good people in this city won't get involved because of the bullies over at the transparency group doing what they're doing, we've already lost.
Well, I don't know how it went down in Highland Park, but they technically have a caucus, right? And somehow it went from being nonpartisan to be left-leaning, right?
Yeah, because you have to, in Highland Park and in Northbrook and some other cities, you have to have the blessing of the local Democratic Party to run for these nonpartisan offices. And I'm sure you can find some place out in DuPage County or Southern Illinois, where it's the same way with the Republican Party, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be either way. And the caucus have the caucus has always been bipartisan. Okay, like I said, Eric Oshgarian was a Democratic precinct committeeman, and he's an alderman with the caucus. All right, so but to make it this supposedly nonpartisan thing, and then drive these very left-wing issues like banning single-use plastics, the city's going to go down in tubes. All right, and
Well,
we're gonna throw away 90 years of good public servants over some stupid stuff, all petty because they didn't get picked
two
by the
questions.
caucus.
Two questions that I have to ask out there. When did this quote unquote vote thing start that became an issue? I'm under the impression it's like within the last couple decades, maybe not even. Okay. And then number two, if you're going to have a vote, how the hell can you not have what the consequences are of a vote, right? There's got to be a winner and loser, correct? Or ratification?
Correct.
Or ratification, is that a better word?
I
Okay.
guess, yeah. I mean, because what is the caucus supposed to do? They're just supposed to keep voting on the same slate until they get a majority? Is it kind of like musical chairs where we just keep running until someone's in the chair? I mean, seriously, like I said, this is like these are like the January 6th people, except they won.
Well, here, and I'll go on to something else. The whole thing about the caucus to go vet these people so they represent you to figure out who the best people are, and then you vote on them, right? Is that what it is? So if you're there to do the interviewing and represent a body of people, the caucus committee represents the caucus, which is all the 16,000 people in Lake Forest. How can somebody that's not part of the vetting process vote? What knowledge would they have to vote down or vote for anything? I guess you
right. I think, and the criticism I've heard from some people about the caucus is it's this closed group. It's the old Lake Forest. They meet in the basement of First Presbyterian Church and all this nonsense.
50 years ago.
Joe Aridi has lived in Lake Forest less than 10 years. Okay. He moved here with his family in, I believe, 2015. Okay. All you have to do is raise your hand and you're in the caucus unless you have a single agenda. If you can't, so the problem is, I think people in the caucus saw through Prue, saw through Melanie, and realized they do have an agenda. So they weren't slated for mayor.
Well, when you
Randy
donate,
Tack doesn't have an agenda other than running a good city.
well, anybody that's watching or listening, if they could admit they were watching or listening, because I don't know, we got a lot of views, but nobody watches us. Please come on.
A lot of people watch us. I get people come up to me last night at something and say they watch. So,
well, God bless.
Mary Cole watches. Hey, Mary.
Oh, hey, Mary, you're not going to win. I'm sorry.
Hey, no, you're wrong. Wrong, Pete. She is going to win. Dead wrong.
Okay.
And people are going to die in Lake County if she doesn't win, because that Reinhardt guy is soft on crime.
I don't disagree. I'll go out and vote, but
she can win, dude. The Reinhardt only won by 3 points.
I don't think
4 years ago.
Look, I like the horse. I like the jockey. I don't like the trainer. If that makes sense. She's got.
But my point is, she's clearly the best candidate, and Eric Reinhardt.
Your Wi-Fi is so atrocious.
Well, I'm using a hotspot because I have no Wi-Fi right now because my Comcast cable was cut by the contractor working on our house. So
are you sure
I'm using the hotspot on my phone. It was. He came in and admitted it. So he apologized, but nonetheless, I'm waiting for Jim Carrey, the cable guy, to come here and fix it. So.
All right. Getting back, you brought up the police.
Unfortunately, Jim Carrey ain't going to win, but I'll tell you.
Yeah, he is. Getting back to the police station.
He's a better candidate than Joe Severino, but that's.
Joe Severino got 1,000 signatures, he said.
I'll believe it when I see it. And I'll believe it. He held up that sheet of paper. What's on the sheet of paper that says Brad Schneider was involved in prostitution in Deerfield? I don't believe it.
I don't think that'll be the leading question.
QAnon, Sideshow Severino, QAnon Joe, whatever you want to call him. No.
How do you really feel? Well, you know what? We'll be able to ask. Don't
give away your guess. Don't give away your guess.
All right, fine. All right, fine.
It's a surprise.
All right, getting back, you brought up the police station. That was kind of an interesting thing, how they found a great deal on a place to put our coppers in because they deserve it. And the firemen deserve a good place too. They found a place, $3.5 million in town, right by Jason's fancy office. Is that where it is?
I don't know how fancy his office is, but it's in that area, that Conway Park area on Field. Is it Field Court or Field Drive? Excuse me, I can't remember. But look. There's office space is the commercial office space market right now is horrible. A lot of companies are downsizing or having their people work at home more. So the city seized on that opportunity. And instead of building a police station from scratch, like Lake Hills is doing now, they were able to get this building that I think will more than meet their needs. It's going to have some modifications. They're doing some space need studies. They have, I think it's 90 days to get out of the contract, hold harmless. So they're going to do all their diligence. And I think that presentation by the deputy police chief was excellent the other night. I urge everyone to go back and watch it. But clearly, they outgrew this building from the 60s, sharing it with the fire department. It doesn't matter where your police station is. You want the firehouse located centrally so a fire engine can get to anywhere quickly. But police are out on patrol. Every precinct in Lake Forest, they divide the city into precincts for the police department. Every zone, or whatever you want to call it, has cops on patrol. So the police station being out by the tollway doesn't affect the quality of policing on the east side. And look, we all know the police cars can turn their flashers on and be anywhere in town in like 5 minutes. So they really need to accommodate all the training. Watch the presentation by the deputy chief, because he's going to explain it far better than me. But we've talked about this before on the show, Pete. The three things that you want to make sure you have solid in your city: police, fire, and public works. Those are the services that every single resident depends upon. So we have great officers, all right, but they need better facilities to do modern policing, and this is going to accommodate that. And then they're going to spend a little money renovating the firehouse to be a full firehouse, not just a police station and a firehouse. So that'll cost some money too, but they're still going to come out way ahead than building a building from scratch like Lake and Hills.
Coppers, firemen, first responders, they get whatever they need. The only question I have is on that.
Some cities they don't, Pete. So
okay,
Lake Forest they do.
Okay,
as long as you don't have a mayor that's supporting a state's attorney that the police do not like or respect.
The question that I have for this new facility, great deal, put them in there. It's pretty damn big. And for cops, you need space for training. I get that. But what is the extra space needed for? To expand what?
That's something I think that we'll get out. We will find out in some of the space needs. But again, the presentation by the deputy chief talked about, like right now, the social worker, the city has a social worker, as they should.
Yeah, she's in a cube, get an office. I get that.
She has no place to, she has no place. Hold on. I think I lost my connection.
No, they said that in the presentation.
Okay.
But there's more social issues coming up that the police need to to deal with. So, and this lady's in a cube, and you can't have a private conversation in a
Yeah, you
cube.
can't.
I get that.
They can't interrogate if they have more than one person in interrogation. One interrogation room right now. I mean, there is all sorts of training that they need. I mean, first of all, they do firearms training. You need some space for that. You don't
Right.
want to. So there's going to be a lot of space needs there for it. So I think there's going to be.
If one of the coppers would come on and explain it, because Jason said they can't come on, even retired people can't come on and explain it.
Well, he's going to take another public job. As a public official, I don't want my employees going on podcasts, so I get it.
So the only thing I say, hey, great deal. What are you going to do with the extra space? Okay, expand in the future. Like, what more? Are we going to add more administration to put more offices in there? Because cops are on the road, man. They need good training facilities.
Well, Pete, let's go back and look at the history of the current police station. When that was built in the 60s,
that's a shithole.
They were probably. But I bet in the 60s, they were like, man, this is awesome. This is great. It was probably better than whatever space they had before that. They were probably in a two-room building back in the day. So what is state of the art today will not be state of the art 10, 20, 30 years from now. So having that my opinion, having that extra space over there will keep us in the future. What I don't want is 50 years from now them saying, you know what, we've outgrown this place. We need to build a new police station somewhere
I'm
else.
asking you, Joe, what does outgrown mean? Like, yeah, that's a small little place. Like Lake Forest is going to be 20,000 people forever.
Right, but policing has changed, Pete. Okay, police need more. Like how?
We just talked about
the interrogation rooms. Well, I'm not a police officer, but I respect what they say. And I think if you go back, all you have to do is look at the video, the presentation by the deputy chief. Forgive me, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He covers a lot of that. And look, Pete, we all do things differently professionally than we did 20, 50 years ago. Okay, so they need interrogation rooms. They need training rooms. They need a firearms facility to do that. They need an incarceration facility. They need different sets of locker rooms because you have male and female officers. There's a long litany, and they need evidence storage space. There's all sorts of things the cops need to do their job, Pete. And again, I'm a fiscal conservative, but I don't want to ever cheap out on law enforcement. So, but I'm glad they're able to.
It's a hell of a deal. It's a hell of a deal.
It's a great deal. I'm jealous. Do you sublet? Do you have a drink? Have a drink. But back in Morton Grove has been trying to get a new police station for like 30 years, and they just can't scratch the money together. Unfortunately, they lost Apt and all that. But there's a lot of towns that are that don't have the resources to build a police station. And here we are. We probably could have built a police station from scratch, okay? But it would have been a big tax increase. But that's why you want people like Randy Tack running your city instead of
they did a great job,
because
Joe. The question still stands. Yeah, that square footage compared to what they have now, what is needed currently, going forward in the future, you're going to have a lot of virtual stuff. Okay, you're not going to need.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff the police have to do in person. You're not going to meet with a witness on Zoom. You're not going to interrogate a criminal on Zoom. Pete.
Okay, that's 10,000 square feet, whatever it is.
And some of the training, you're not going to train firearms. You're not going to train on disaster responses on Zoom. You're going to practice the exercise in a training room, okay, in front of everyone. I know you like to be all virtual and everything, and virtual is great for a lot of things. And these corporations that had these office spaces are going a lot virtual, which opens up this commercial office space at a very good price. But police, there's certain things, Pete, that you still got to do in person. And maybe 50 years from now, they'll figure out a way to have a virtual jail. I don't know.
Let them come on the show. I want to understand. I want to understand. Can we sublet it till we need the space? That's kind of questions that it's a great deal. Can it be even
fair point? And I think they are spending, they took competitive bids and they're hiring a couple different firms to assess the space needs and the quality of the building and stuff like that. And they have, I believe it's 90 days Because if they come back and say, you know what, we found a big problem with this building and like maybe asbestos or something like that,
Yeah.
That's going to cost an arm and a leg.
It was
to
built in
remove.
2007, I think. So there's no.
Yeah, so I don't think there's going to be a problem, but you never know, right? And it was built in Lake Forest, so there's good building standards. But they have 90 days to back out of this, and I'm sure
it's a great deal. It's a great deal.
I agree. It's 99.999% chance they would not back out. But
and the city council,
but they're doing their due diligence. They're doing their due diligence. And that's what you want a city council to do, what a fiscally conservative city council does, and they're doing it. So again, best possible services at lowest possible cost. Caucus is doing it, Mayor Tack's doing it, council's doing it, and you don't want to replace that with a tax and spend crowd that wants to single-use plastics.
Look, anything for the coppers and firemen, okay? Now the firemen can have an extra space for all their recliners. That's a cop joke.
Firemen need additional space.
And they're great cooks. They're going to expand their kitchen.
They're great cooks.
They're going to have the best
Who
kitchen.
won the contest? They had, I missed it, the burger battle or whatever it was over at what was it? What's the restaurant that they had the burger battle at? Is it the Gallery?
The firemen had to have won. They are the best cooks. They are the best cooks.
But yeah, I mean, it's all good fun. But yeah, you want public safety is your number one thing, followed by public works. Again, every resident of the city wants to be able to pick up the phone in their worst moment and get somebody there quickly and who does the job the way they need to. And that happens in Lake Forest. And this will even improve better when we get this new police station built so that the police have a good facility and the fire department has a good facility.
Well, I just look at the nice office Jason Wikipedia has. And
well, you can thank Mike Rummel for that because he scared away Costco to Mattawa. So again, I stand by my statement I said a few months ago. If Melanie Rummel wants to run for mayor of Mattawa, because your husband did more to help the city of Mattawa than anybody in Mattawa ever did.
Talk about anti-business. That's what we're going to face, man. I'm sick of talking. You got anything else? Hey, I
think we've beaten a dead horse today.
City council, great job. That was you knocked that thing out. Bam, bam, bam. Randy,
everybody.
Even Nancy Novus.
Watch the video of the city council meeting. Watch the video of that city council meeting. And I'm telling you, that's a master class on how you are a public official. And if that should be the campaign video to reelect Randy Tack right there, because these guys are doing a great job.
Efficient. Look, I'm nitpicking. I'm looking a gift horse in the mouth, but I don't want to be great. I want to be greatest, I don't want to be good. I want to be great. How can it be a magnificent deal? It's a bitchin' deal, but I mean a fantastic bitchin' deal. That's all I got, Joe. See you tonight.
Can't wait.
The Lake Forest Podcast is supported by viewers, listeners, and businesses just like you. Michelle Parno has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, and J.M.